Barbra Streisand. The name alone evokes images of glittering concert stages, timeless songs, box office triumphs, and a voice that has moved generations. For over 6 decades, she has remained an icon of artistry and strength. Yet, away from the dazzle of showbiz and the roar of adoring crowds, there is another story, one more intimate, more contemplative, and perhaps more quietly powerful. It is the story of her only child, Jason Emmanuel Gould. Unlike the children of many celebrities who chase the limelight, Jason chose an altogether different path, one of privacy, truth, healing, and personal authenticity. In a world obsessed with fame and spectacle, his life is a testament to the courage it takes to be genuinely oneself in the face of enormous expectations. A birth rooted in destiny and surprise, Jason Gould was born on December 29, 1966, in New York City. His arrival came during a pivotal moment in both his parents' lives. Barbra Streisand, already an entertainment juggernaut by then, had conquered the worlds of music, stage, and screen. Jason's father, actor Elliot Gould, was on his way to becoming a major figure in Hollywood, known for his depth and versatility. Barbra had believed for many years that she would never have children. When she learned she was pregnant, it was not just surprising, it was life-altering. She has said publicly that Jason's arrival changed her understanding of love, purpose, and legacy. For Streisand, motherhood became one of the most cherished roles she would ever play. But Jason's birth also came with unique burdens. From his first breath, he was a child of extraordinary expectation, born into a global spotlight that would be both a blessing and a burden. Growing up in a world where nothing was ordinary, while most children play in parks unnoticed, Jason could not step outside without attention. The celebrity press followed his every movement, and tabloids speculated endlessly about his relationship with his mother, his father, and his destined future in show business. Barbra did her best to shield him, but the cameras never strayed far. In 1971, when Jason was just 4 years old, Barbra and Elliot divorced. Though the breakup was amicable and both parents remained actively involved in Jason's upbringing, the split introduced new dynamics. Jason remained primarily with his mother, living in a household steeped in creativity, discipline, and ambition. Yet Streisand was always adamant that Jason would not become a child prop or celebrity accessory. She discouraged him from being in the public eye unnecessarily and resisted all pressure to turn his childhood into a press spectacle. She wanted him to have the space to discover who he was outside of her fame. Early brush with acting, then retreat. Jason's first acting experience came at age 6 in the 1972 film of The Sandbox, in which Barbra starred. The part was small and harmless, a cameo of sorts. But rather than use this as a springboard to a child actor career, Jason and his mother deliberately retreated from the camera's glare. Through his teenage years and early adulthood, Jason remained largely unknown to the public. He lived comfortably but privately, studying, reading, writing, and immersing himself in self-discovery. He attended elite private schools, later studied at the University of New York, and occasionally visited film sets, but always as a spectator, not a participant. In the late 1980s, as a young adult, Jason gave acting another try. He appeared in a few television projects, including The Bronx Zoo, and had a memorable minor role in Say Anything, 1989, where he played a wealthy, intoxicated partygoer. These roles hinted at potential, but Jason's heart was elsewhere. The Prince of Tides and the moment of realization, the biggest test, came in 1991, when Jason took a part in The Prince of Tides, directed by and starring his mother. The film became an enormous success, garnering 7 Academy Award nominations and cementing Barbra's legacy as a filmmaker. For Jason, however, the experience confirmed something profound. He did not want to be famous. While others saw The Prince of Tides as a launchpad, Jason saw it as a crossroads. The process of filming, the attention it brought, and the increased press interest in his life made him feel suffocated. He later described being in the public eye as being hunted. The constant comparisons to his mother, the endless speculation about his personal life, and the intensity of celebrity culture drained him. Jason Gould made a choice that very few children of superstars ever make. He walked away. Coming out in a tabloid world, while Jason was carving his own path away from Hollywood, he was also coming into his truth. In the 1980s, he came out to his family as gay. Barbra and Elliot responded with acceptance and unconditional love. Streisand, in particular, has said that Jason's openness helped her become more attuned to LGBTQ+ issues and led her to support same-sex marriage and anti-discrimination efforts. However, in 1991, a tabloid cruelly outed Jason to the public in a fabricated story that claimed he had secretly married another man. The story was entirely false, complete with fake photos and invented witnesses. The scandal was meant to shame him, but Jason refused to be humiliated. His response was not a press conference or a legal battle. He simply went on living. He did not seek to make his identity a media topic. "I never felt like I was in the closet," he said later, "so I never had to come out." That quiet self-assurance became one of Jason's most defining qualities. Healing through music. Jason's second act after retreating from Hollywood and surviving the cruel fire of tabloid gossip, Jason Gould turned inward and began exploring another passion, music. It was an art form that had always been a part of his soul, but one he had feared to pursue seriously due to inevitable comparisons with his mother's unparalleled career. But in 2012, something shifted. Barbra invited Jason to join her on stage during her Back to Brooklyn tour. The duet, "How Deep is the Ocean," was magical. Audiences responded with thunderous applause. For Jason, the performance was less about fame and more about connection, both with the audience and with his mother. Encouraged by the experience, Jason began to write, record, and produce music. In 2017, he released his debut album Dangerous Man, which featured a mix of jazz, soul, and introspective songwriting. The album wasn't a blockbuster, but that wasn't the goal. For Jason, creating music was about expression and healing, not fame or accolades. His voice, smooth, warm, and emotionally rich, was praised by critics as sincere and unique. His style diverged completely from his mother's dramatic flair, instead embracing a tone of quiet elegance and heartfelt lyricism. A life beyond the cameras today, Jason Gould lives quietly, away from Hollywood's chaos. He makes rare public appearances, engages with fans only when he chooses to, and spends most of his time enjoying the life he's built, authentic, measured, and self-directed. His father, Elliot Gould, is known to younger generations as Ross Geller's dad and friends, but Jason himself has said he's barely watched the show. That anecdote alone paints a vivid picture of a man uninterested in the trappings of fame, uninterested in celebrity culture, and wholly committed to simplicity. Jason's life reminds us that not all children of celebrities want or need to continue the legacy in the same way. He has walked his own path, created art that speaks from the heart, and embraced an identity that doesn't demand constant validation. Jason Gould today, a life of quiet courage as of today, Jason Gould continues to live on his own terms. He makes rare public appearances, occasionally releases music, and maintains a strong relationship with both of his parents. He is deeply involved in artistic circles, but rarely courts the spotlight. He values literature, introspection, and the kind of inner peace that few in Hollywood ever find. He has also served quietly as an LGBTQ+ role model, not because he asked to, but because his life and choices resonate with people seeking permission to simply be themselves. He's become an icon of private dignity in a culture that often confuses visibility with value. Jason rarely grants interviews, but when he does, his words reveal a person of depth, gentleness, and great emotional intelligence. He's spoken about the meditative nature of songwriting, the gift of solitude, and the challenge of growing up under the world's gaze while trying to cultivate an inner life. More than a legacy, the power of living authentically Jason Gould is not just Barbra Streisand's son. He is an artist in his own right, a spiritual seeker, a musician, a survivor of media cruelty, and a man who has chosen authenticity over attention. He reminds us that not every famous child wants to carry the torch of fame. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in stepping back, forging your own path, and saying, "I will not be what you expect me to be. I will be what I am." His story stands as a living rebuke to Hollywood's obsession with image. It is a testament to the power of knowing yourself deeply, loving yourself unconditionally, and trusting that a quiet, authentic life is every bit as profound as one lived under a spotlight. Redefining what it means to succeed in a culture obsessed with fame, Jason Gould's story is a quiet rebellion. He turned down a ready-made spotlight in favor of self-respect and inner peace. He faced false headlines, immense pressure, and a world eager to typecast him, and he refused to conform. His journey offers something profoundly needed today, a reminder that success is not always about visibility. Sometimes, the most powerful legacy is one of authenticity, creativity, and truth. Barbra Streisand's son has not vanished from the world. He's just chosen to live in it differently. With his quiet voice and strong heart, Jason Gould has composed a life that speaks not in decibels, but in depth. And for those listening, his is a melody worth hearing. Conclusion, a voice that chose silence, and then found its song What Happened to Barbra Streisand's Son? The world asks, often expecting scandal, failure, or controversy. But the truth is more beautiful. Jason Gould happened to find himself outside of fame, outside of expectations, and outside of the world's gaze. He chose not to become a brand or a symbol. He chose to become a man on his own terms. And that, in a world that constantly screams for attention, is perhaps the most powerful legacy of all.